I got another video for y'all. This is Bachelor. Season 26, episode 3. Let's get into it. So, Clayton approaches Cassie and asks her straight up. And, of course, she has that dumbfounded look. And she's like, I haven't done anything since 2019. Like, now we really lying. And she just would have been like, no. Like, I just been like, okay. Because, you know, it's a he said, she said type thing. Even though we seen her admit it on cam. But to Clayton, it's a he said, she said. Because he don't really know for real. And at first, you know, they was outside. But Cassidy ran away crying when Clay came up there. She's like, I'm glad you came up here. But I've been sleeping with him for the past 3 months. My thing is like, you lied. Okay, I get it. No excuse me. It's not okay. But you lied. Why would you not continue to lie? You know what I'm saying? We was just out there. You look confused, baffled. Like you had no idea what was going on. Now we get up here and you've been sleeping with the nigga for the past 3 months? Like what happened in 2019? And when girls say anything about a relationship, you gotta multiply that shit by 3. So she really been sleeping with the nigga for a little less than a year. Clayton does as he should and sends Cassidy back to go fuck on that nigga. She in the limo like, why does this always happen to me? Things go so well and then it's just over. Like, Cassidy, why was you ever that comfortable to begin with? You already know the girls don't like you, although that had nothing to do with them telling. But we all here fighting for the same dude. And you telling us about your fuck buddy back home? Like, that's something that you should have just kept to yourself. So Daria ends up going home at the rose ceremony. She looked gorgeous. NC ends up going home. NC, teach me how to say hit me up in Korean. However that is, hit a nigga up. Excuse me. On the group date, they meet a woman named Caitlin Briscoe, who I have no idea who she is. Let's get into it. After they have a deep talk about, like, what they hate about themselves, Clayton says, you know, he was just a fat kid and he hated himself when he looked in the mirror and stuff. And after his monologue, Susie gonna get in her confession talking about, I've never heard a guy speak like this of himself. Like, you must not be around a lot of men. Really, that told me the caliber of men you date, because the average to below average nigga is always feeling like that. The reason women don't know is because guys aren't able to express themselves without being weak or without having it being used against them. Guys aren't able to be emotionally vulnerable without it being looked at as complaining or he's being soft. That's why a lot of y'all men don't tell y'all nothing. They just keep it to themselves, or they tell the bros at bros night or something. Like, but the below average to average nigga always want to change something about themselves. They got a buttload of insecurities, but they can never tell you that. So, Eliza gets the group date rose or whatever. Sarah's chosen for the indie date. They on like some freak shit for their indie date. I forgot what they even did. They was doing like a scavenger hunt nude and shit like that. Sarah spit a little bar or whatever. Clayton dropped that weak ass beat that he been talking about. He dropped that little weak ass beat he been talking about these past 3 episodes. That little weak ass shit. Sarah dropped a couple bars. They was doing a scavenger hunt naked around LA, which was like odd. And but that was like whatever. I guess they embraced it. The group date is like some shit with a lifeguard. The lady got off and they're like, this is whoever the fuck that was. I'm like, bro, who are these people? They're like, she's from Baywatch. I'm like, I've never watched that. And then she's like, oh yeah, like lifeguard. If I know lifeguarding is like relationships. Da, 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 da. I'm like, that's what Baywatch was about? Like, I never watched it, but I thought that was like an action movie or something. And all I know about Baywatch is I think this might or might not be true. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Ain't that nigga from SpongeBob on the SpongeBob movie? Ain't he on Baywatch? Or what movie am I thinking about? That Hasselhoff nigga? David Hasselhoff, yeah. Ain't he in that motherfucker? I ain't know that that's what Baywatch was about. I like dating on the beach or some shit like that. Probably won't watch that shit. Probably will. But that'll be like long way down the road. Especially with these fucking, you know, all these different shows and shit we gotta get through. All these different movies and shit we gotta get through. That'll be like a long time. But whatever. Yeah, so that's their little group date and shit. They gotta do like a slow-mo walk and like sexy CPR and whatnot. And then like Gabby ends up winning the time. The extra time with Clayton. Because the lady from Baywatch decided that like like she was the best one or whatever. She gave it the most energy. So yeah. And I mean, that was really that. I mean, I'm gonna stop bringing up like these people because it's like I really have no idea. Like these white celebs, like I'm just so out of touch. I feel like it would be the opposite too. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh my god. They're like, we got Lawrence Fishburne. I'm like, oh shit, Lawrence Fishburne. They're like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? I'm over here. They'll be like, oh, we have Myra Forbes. Like, bruh, who the fuck is that? And they're like, oh my god, Myra Forbes was literally my childhood star. I'm like, who the fuck even is that? Like, oh shit, man. Like, I might just start bringing up the celebrities because I doubt I'll have, I'll know them. But I mean, it started off good because I'm familiar with Hillary Duff. I know who Hillary Duff is. So I was like, they bringing on the big guns on here. But yeah, whatever. Really, she's not a big gun. She's not a minigun either. She's like I don't know. But yeah, then the episode ends with Shanae going to Clayton and telling him once again about, oh, this and that about Elizabeth. And I'm like, girl, just enjoy your time with that nigga. Like, she keeps trying to put a bug in his ear so that Elizabeth goes home, and it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not really dropping no weight on him. You just saying, I don't get along with her. We don't see eye to eye. And I mean, like, that's like women. Women don't see eye to eye with other women. Like, they do, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't when it comes to them liking the same nigga and wanting the same man. So it's like, that's just some shit you got to get past. But it's like, she keeps saying, trying to put a bug in his ear and saying she's bullied and stuff like that. So him and Elizabeth going back and forth. He talked to Elizabeth, got her side of the story. She started busting out crying and shit. She's like, I've done nothing. And you know what I'm saying? These hoes just as relentless. So next episode, Clayton's supposed to do something at the rose ceremony. I doubt that nigga will. He probably finna keep them both. But I don't know. Sometimes I'd be like, Clayton, you be doing, like, you and production be really doing this shit. Because, like, the group date, it's like, hey, I know that Elizabeth and Shanae don't like each other, but I'm going to put them on the group date together. You know what I'm saying? Or the same group dates. Like, if there's 2 group dates, I'm put them on the same group date. Like, no, nigga. Like, you just be trying to start shit up for real. You and production, but it is what it is. Like, whatever. But that's the end of this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, friends. Don't forget about